Good morning, everyone. This is Steve Porcaro, and I'm here with Nancy Feliciano from the IRS. And Nancy, I'm not sure exactly what your title means, but if you don't mind, if you could explain what the Stakeholder Liaison does and a little bit tell our participants what you're going to talk about today, and we'll turn it over and you can take it away. Thank you, Nancy.
Okay, thank you, Steve, and hopefully everyone can hear me. My name is Nancy Feliciano, and I currently work for the IRS office for the IRS out of the Hartford, Connecticut office. And my official title is actually a senior tax specialist, but our organization title is a stakeholder liaison. And sometimes, I even get confused with my title. So stakeholder, the stakeholder liaison, what it means, we are here, we provide outreach and education to industry organizations, to self-employed individuals, also to the tax professionals. And we mainly serve as your main contact between those three, the industries and the small business organizations. So we're here to serve as a manager for the most part between you and the IRS. So that's mainly, our purpose here, to provide education and outreach information to you. So that's mainly what we do. That's why we want to get all this information out to all our partners. Okay, so like I said, I'm Nancy Feliciano from the IRS office, and today we're going to talk a little bit about the coronavirus tax reliefs that the IRS currently has. And to help individuals and families, the IRS actually created a new web page, which is shown right now on your screen. And this page will be updated as new information is available. So the best way to get answers and detailed information is to go to this IRS website, because we don't have a lot of answers. We have a lot of questions, but we don't have a lot of answers at this moment because everything changes and the IRS hasn't given a lot of the provisions or guidelines yet. So the best way to get information is through irs.gov through this page. So the first thing that I'm going to talk about is, as we all probably know by now, the IRS has extended the filing deadline in federal tax payments, and regardless of the amount you owe, the tax date now is July 15. So it was extended from April 15, 2020 to July 15, 2020. And taxpayers can also defer federal income tax payments that were due on April 15th to July 15th without any penalties and interest, regardless of the amount that they currently that they owed. So this deferment applies to all taxpayers, including individuals, trusts and estates, corporations, and non-corporate tax filers, as well as those that are self-employed or that pay self-employment tax. So individuals, taxpayers who need additional time to file beyond the July 15 deadline, they can actually request a filing extension by filing Form 4868 through either their tax professionals or tax software, or even using the IRS free file link on irs.gov. And also businesses who need additional time beyond the July 15 date can also file Form 7004 to request an extension. So if you cannot file by July 15, you must request an extension, okay? That way the extension is extended to October 15, 2020. So to avoid any interest and penalties when filing your tax return after July, make sure that the tax is paid or your estimated payments are paid by July 15th, even though you requested an extension to October 15th. So, and the IRS urges taxpayers who are due a refund to file as soon as possible. So most refunds are still being issued within, like 21 days, 10 to 21 days. So if you already filed your 2019 tax return and you owe taxes, to avoid any interest and penalties, pay your taxes in full by July 15th, even though you have an additional extension to October 15th. Because if not, interest and penalties, they're still going to begin to be charged after July 15th for any amount that remains unpaid. Okay. So this, the filing, the extension for filing and payment of federal income taxes reported are on the following tax returns. So if you're a 1040 filer or 1040 SR, 1040 NR, 1040 NREC, or 1040 PR, or 1040 SS, also including any forms 1041s, 1041Ns, any forms 1120, 1120C, 1120F, anything under the 1120 series, also including Form 8960 and 8991 are the only ones that have been extended to July 15th. Any other forms like the payroll tax returns, like the 941s and 940, are still due by, well, we are due by April 15th. Those did not get extended, only the ones that I just mentioned. And you can find this information on irs.gov. Okay, so there are other forms too, like Form 990T that was due on April 15, that also was postponed to July 15. So we, with some other forms like the 1065 forms also were extended. So any questions in regards to the extension of filing? Okay, so if we don't have any questions on that, then we can just move on to talking about the economy impact payments. I know this is a big issue. There's a lot of questions going on, who's eligible to receive the payment. So I'm just going to talk about the basic eligibility. So in order to get the payment, you must be a U.S. citizen or resident alien who has a valid Social Security number and who cannot be claimed as a dependent on another taxpayer's tax return, and their adjusted gross income is under certain limits. So U.S. residents will receive the economic impact payment of $1,200 for individuals or head of household filers, and married filing joint tax returns will receive $2,400 if they are not a dependent of another taxpayer or have a work-eligible Social Security number with adjusted gross incomes up to $75,000 for individuals, $112,500 for head of household filers, and $150,000 for married couples filing joint returns. Taxpayers will receive a reduced payment if their adjusted gross income is between, for individuals, if the income is between $75,000 to $99,000, then the payment is going to be reduced until it's zeroed out. For head of household, anyone making over $112,500 between $112,000 and $136,000, the payment also gets reduced until it's zero out. The same thing with filing married joints. If they made over $150,000 and between $198,000, the payments are going to be also reduced until it's zero out. Okay. So and the amount is reduced based on the taxpayer's specific adjusted gross income. Also, any eligible retirees and recipients of Social Security, SSI, railroad retirement, disability, or even veterans benefits who are not claimed as a dependent on someone else's tax return will receive a payment automatically. They are also eligible for the $1,200 payment. And no further action is necessary for these recipients who automatically will receive their payment the same way they currently receive the Social Security and railroad retirement benefits. So, however, we need to know that people in this group who also have a qualifying child under the age of 17 will need to provide more information to the IRS so they can get the $500 per child. So the IRS needs the dependent information before the payment is issued. Otherwise, the payments at this time will be $1,200, and by law, the additional $500 per eligible child will be paid in association with a tax return filing for tax year 2020. Okay. Steve, any questions so far?
Not yet, Nancy, but if you do have a question, please use your chat box or the Q&A pop-up window, and we'll pass those on to Nancy.
Okay.
Nancy, this is Diane. I have to apologize everyone for coming in late. I got a phone call about a minute before this from DECD. We're working on another issue, so I apologize, but I wanted to thank you for being here. I have a question that other people have sent in before. These tax relief payments, excuse me, the $1,200, the $500 for children, is this tax income? Is this income that I have to pay taxes on at the end of the year?
No, the economic impact payment is not taxable, and it's not going to affect your 2020 tax return, and it's not going to affect any benefits or assistance that you're receiving from other sources. So
Okay.
it's not going to affect anything.
So that's important, because a lot of people out there are receiving benefits anywhere from SNAP to energy assistance to a discount on their health insurance. So this is not considered income, so they do not have to report it as part of their income, and they will not have to pay taxes on it at the end of the year. Correct.
We still don't know how the 2020 tax return is going to look like, and there might be a line there to say that you received the payment last year, but just for informational purposes only, because there are some taxpayers that are not getting the payment now, but they will get it in 2020 when they file the tax return. But that's that's still in the works, so we just gotta wait. But no, it's not taxable income. It's not going to be reported. It's not going to have any effects. Okay. All right, so we're just going to continue on to who is not eligible to get the payment. So taxpayers that won't qualify for the economic impact payment is any of the following, if anything of the following apply. So if the adjusted gross income is greater than the $99,000, if the filing status was single or married filing separately. Also, if you had a household and your income was over $136,500, then you won't qualify to get the payment. Married filing jointly, if the income is over $198,000, then also you won't qualify to get the payment. If you can be claimed as a dependent on someone else's return, for example, this will include like a child or student or older dependent who can be claimed on a parent's tax return. Those kids are not eligible to get the payment. And because they're older children, the parents are not even eligible to get the $500 credit. So, and I know, this has created a lot of issues. Sometimes we have a 17-year-old that's still in high school, and why are not we getting any relief for that child? But this is what Congress created, and the IRS is just going by what's being imposed to the IRS to follow. So, but as of right now, those children between the age of 17 that are claimed on the parent's tax return are not getting any payments. So, also, if you're in a non-resident area, you don't qualify for the payment. If you file Form 1040 NR or 1040 NREC or 1040 SSA for 2019, those people are not eligible for the payment.
Hi, Nancy.
So, I'm sorry, Nancy, one last question. If you, on this particular topic, let's say that I applied, I paid my taxes in 2018 or 2019, I got a refund, so they have my bank information, but I still haven't received the payment. And when I went onto the IRS website, I'm getting a message that says it's an error message. what should I do? Who should I contact?
Yeah, right now you cannot contact anyone. And I'm sorry to say that because most of the IRS offices are closed, and the telephone online services are very limited, so you can't really contact anyone. But if you file your 2018 tax return in 2019 and you end up getting a refund, you need to see what was your adjusted gross income. If the adjusted gross income is below the amounts that qualify you, you should be getting a refund. Sometimes the bank account might be closed, so when the IRS issues the payment, the bank is going to reject it because the bank account has been closed. So now that payment has to be returned back to the IRS, and then eventually the IRS will mail that payment out. Also, on the irs.gov page, we have a Q&A, a frequently asked questions and answers, and there is a section there of what to do if you haven't gotten your payment, or if you filed and you haven't gotten your payment. So sometimes on the 2019 tax return, people have filed them, but they haven't been completely processed yet. And so it's going to take a little longer. But the IRS is going to keep issuing payments until the end of the year, just to resolve all these issues. So, people that haven't gotten their payment yet and they think that they're eligible to claim it, once the IRS starts opening up again, you'll be able to contact the IRS and find out exactly why you didn't get the if is there anything else you need to do to get the payment.
Okay, and one more thing just to clarify, because we have some people on the call that are actual, I wouldn't say social workers, but they work with a lot of people to help them make sure that they get their benefits. So if I did not file in 2018 or 2019 because I didn't have enough income, or I didn't need to file for some reason, but I meet all the other qualifications, I'm under the pay amount, and I'm a legal citizen, do I go onto the new portal and input my information and social security number and bank account information so that the IRS knows how to send it? And the same question would go if I had to pay taxes in 18 and 19, they don't have a bank account because I'm paying them. Do I go onto the portal and input my information so they know where to send my money?
Okay. I'm just going to talk a little bit about that, and then we can answer your questions. So the IRS has a tool that was just created a couple of weeks ago to help non-filers get the economic impact payment. And with non-filers, what we mean those people that are not required to file a tax return or are under the filing requirement income, and because they never filed for 2018 or 2019, there's no way of getting them the payment if we don't have any information on them. So the IRS created a tool that's on irs.gov right now. It's called the non-filer enter payment information here. And this tool allows you to quickly register for the payment if you don't normally file a tax return. And you just go to irs.gov to the tool. You got to provide your social security number, name, address, and dependents if you have any. And the IRS will use this information to confirm your eligibility and calculate and send you your payment. So for those that do not have a filing requirement, they can go in and use the non-filer tool to get their payment. And also it's going to give you a choice to enter your bank account information, and this will allow the IRS to deposit your payment directly into your bank account. If you don't have a bank account information or you don't provide one, then the IRS will mail you the payment. So we are urging people that don't have a filing requirement that they need to use this tool in order to get the payment. There's no other way around it.
Okay, so someone who did file, but they actually had to pay the government, so the government doesn't have their bank account information, do they just wait for the IRS to send them a check in the mail, or can they go on that non-filer portal and put their information in and get a direct deposit into their bank?
Okay, the non-filer tool is only for those that do not have a filing requirement, okay? And are not claimed by anyone else, okay? If you file, if you are required to file a 2018, 2019 tax return, you cannot use this tool. You need to use the other tool that we have, which is the Get My Payment tool. Is also on irs.gov. And this tool, if you file your 2018 or 2019 tax return and it has been processed, you can check the status of your payment by going on by using this tool. Okay, so let's say the question that you had, that you filed 2018 and 2019 and you owe taxes because the IRS doesn't have any direct deposit information in file, they are going to mail you the check. If you want the payment to be direct deposit, you have to go under my Get My Payment tool, and hopefully the payment hasn't been processed yet. Because once the payment has been processed, you cannot input your bank information there. You have to catch it like right on time before this issue, so you can add in a bank account number. Okay. If not, then you're going to get it in the mail.
Okay, Nancy, is there a deadline to do this? Like, I know that if you're on Social Security and you need to file that $500 for your dependent child, you have until tomorrow. Is there any deadline for people with any regular people for their regular payments? Any deadline?
No, there's no deadline. If you already filed, okay, let's say that if you want to get your economy payment, and you have a filing requirement, you must file your tax return in order to get the payment. So if you don't file, then you're not going to get the payment. So we ask you to go ahead and file as soon as you can, so you can get this payment. But the IRS is going to be working on this until the end of the year. So you have until the end of, don't wait until December 31st to file. Just because the IRS is issuing payments until the end of the year. But file your tax return as soon as you can if you have the filing requirement.
So can you just clarify that again? So if you are required to file and you haven't filed for 2018 and 2019 and you're supposed to, you will not get the payment until you file?
Correct. So we ask you to file at least that 2019 return first, so you can get your payment.
2019 first. Okay.
Yeah, because that's the one that can mainly be filed electronically, the fastest one that can be filed and processed electronically. With the 2018, it might take a little longer if you have to file by paper or if you cannot file electronically. But right now, we have the free file on irs.gov for 2019 only, because using the free file from irs.gov or even the free fillable forms, they're only for 2019. So, we recommend that you file your 2019 first, that way you can get your payment as soon as possible, but also file 2018. So.
Okay.
So good. If you didn't file, go ahead.
No, I said that's good information.
Okay. So like I said, if you didn't file a return for 2019 or 2018, and you have a filing requirement and you have not filed that tax return, you must file at least the 2019 tax return to receive the payment. Okay. And if you're not required to file at all, then use the non-filer enter payment information tool that's available on irs.gov. Okay. And then for any status on your economy payment, if you already filed and you don't know why you haven't gotten your payment yet, please check the Get My Payment tool on irs.gov. Okay, that tool, the Get My Payment tool, you can only add in new bank account information. You cannot change any bank account information. So let's say that you file your 2019 or 2018 tax return and that bank account is closed already. You cannot use this Get My Payment tool to change your bank account information. It's only to input new accounts. Okay, no bank account information, not to change any bank information that's currently on record. Okay, any other questions regarding that?
I think you're good.
Okay, great. And also, for security reasons, the IRS is going to be mailing out a letter about the economic impact payment to the taxpayer's last known address within like 15 days after the payment is paid. So the letter will provide information on how the payment was made and how to report any, any issues if you did not receive the payment.
So you get a letter in the mail 15 days after the deposit was made?
Yes, yes. And if the taxpayer is unsure that they are receiving a legitimate letter from the IRS, then we urge you to check irs.gov, to protect against any scam, any scams that are going on. But yes, the IRS is going to be sending a letter within 15 days after the payment is issued, just to let you know that the payment was indeed paid out, either by bank account or mail down. And that's how you're going to know that a payment was issued to you. So let's say that you did not receive that payment, that you received the letter but you never got the payment, then there's going to be guidance there to follow how to contact the IRS and report, any issues if you haven't received your payment. Okay. And that letter is going to be coming from the IRS. So. Also, taxpayers should be aware of coronavirus-related scams. This is a big issue that the IRS is having right now, not only with the payments, but with identity thefts. And this has been going on, for years now. But now, because we have the coronavirus impact payments, taxpayers should be on the lookout for IRS impersonation calls, any texts, any emails, any scams that are asking you for bank account information. Because remember, the IRS is not going to call you, okay, or email you or text you to verify or request any financial, banking, or personal information. So if you receive any calls or any emails, just automatically assume that this is a scam, okay? Because the IRS is not going to be calling you for any information. And also watch out for websites and social media attempts to request money or personal information. Always make sure that you go to the official website of irs.gov, not irs.com. Make sure it's the official irs.gov website. And we tell you not to open any emails that might look like they're coming from the IRS, or click on any attachments or links. And taxpayers should not provide any personal or financial information, or even engage with potential scammers online or over the phone. Once you answer your phone and you don't recognize the number, sometimes it's not even worth answering the calls. Just, if it's important, somebody's going to leave you a voice message. If you receive any suspicious emails, you can always send those to phishing@irs.gov and then delete the messages. Okay, and any up-to-date information regarding scams, you can always go to irs.gov for more information. Okay. The scammers might also ask you to sign over your check, or to ask you for verification, and also they might suggest that they're working on your payment, on issuing your payment. So just make sure that you don't give out any information over the phone or online. Okay. Any other questions regarding the payments? Okay. All right. The IRS also created a new People's First initiative. We have that information also on irs.gov. And this initiative is obviously because of COVID-19. And it's an effort to temporarily adjust and suspend any key compliance programs. So to help people facing the challenges of COVID-19 issues, the IRS also has a series of steps to assist taxpayers by providing relief on a variety of issues, ranging from from easing payment guidelines to postponing compliance actions. So these two changes can be related to installment agreement payments. Let's say that a taxpayer has an installment agreement with the IRS. Those payments are currently being postponed as well. Any offers in compromise that are currently being worked are also being, they're not going to be enforced, or any collection or enforcement action is being stopped right now until further notice. So that's a little help, for someone that currently owes taxes and is currently on a payment arrangement, or even on their collection, there's no action being taken against them for now.
How long are they being suspended? Do you know?
It says until further notice. Until everything goes back to normal. Right now we're not allowing any revenue officers or any auditors go out to the field to make contact with taxpayers or initiate any audits. So until that goes back to normal. So, and I'm pretty sure that we'll get notice right away, and I'll be mailing you that notice as well. But as of right now, this is what's going on. There's not, everything is being postponed until further notice. So, and hopefully it's until July 15th, but we'll see.
Okay.
So, all right. We also have, the IRS also has some related tax credits for small businesses and mid-sized businesses. The Families First Response Act that was signed on March 18th, 2020, it provides small and mid-sized employers refundable tax credits, credits that reimburse them dollar for dollar for the cost of providing paid sick leave and family leave wages to the employees for leave related to COVID-19. So we don't have a lot of answers to this right now, but we do have on irs.gov a Q&A. So if you have any detailed questions regarding these credits, you have to go to irs.gov and see, the latest information that we have there. Because I don't really have a lot of answers because this is all new, and we just going to tell you, for more detail on the refundable tax credits for the businesses, you need to go to irs.gov, and we also have how to claim the credits on irs.gov. So it tells you in detail information how to go buy and claim this credits that are available for small businesses and mid-sized businesses. Also, tax relief for the employee retention credit is also, this credit is actually, it was designed to encourage businesses to keep employees on their payroll. So that way they can get a credit for keeping the employees on payroll during this time. So to see if any business is eligible for the credit, they can go on irs.gov and do a search on employee retention credit. And we have a lot of frequently asked questions that you can find on the website as well. We also...
Can I ask you a couple of questions sort of kind of related to this? A lot of the people on our call and what I've been getting questions for have applied for some of the programs that are out there. And so the overall question, and we can go through them one at a time, the overall question is, are any money that people are getting during this time for assistance, is this going to be taxable income either on their business or personal income tax? For example, if I filed for the EIDL loan, that's a loan, so loan payments are not considered income, correct?
Well, we have no specifics IRS guidelines on this yet, but according to my research and understanding is that for the EIDL $10,000 advance that you have mentioned before on one of your questions, is that the $10,000 advance will be forgiven if used for certain expenses, like pay leave and maintaining payroll and things like that. And as it will be forgiven similar, for the PP loans too, which is the payroll protection program loans, our understanding right now is that these loans will not be taxable. Okay. But but we don't have official guidance yet. Once that guidance comes out, I'm pretty sure you'll be one of the first ones to know about it.
Okay, so if I received a PPP loan of $100,000 right now, that's not considered income. It's as far as we know to this point, it's not considered taxable income. If I match it, I mean, obviously loans are not income, they're a loan. But if any of these loans turn into grants, like the $10,000 advance or the PPP loan turning into grants because I've matched it, then at the moment, it's not considered taxable, but we'll wait for clarification in writing for that.
Yes, correct. Because we don't have any written guidance on it yet, but it's
So the other big one is the $600 of the pandemic unemployment payment. Regular unemployment benefits are considered taxable income, and people have to pay their regular state and federal taxes on it. What about that $600? Is that also?
Yeah. Well, like everything else, we don't have specific IRS guidelines for that particular question. But as of right now, this is our understanding that the extra $600 at this point might be taxable. Okay, just like your regular unemployment income. But then again, because it's been classified as unemployment, and unemployment is of course taxable. So unless legislation is passed, it is right now we consider it taxable.
Okay.
But so unless legislation.
And that could be very important to people who, I mean, let's say that I am a self-employed person. This benefit also goes to people who are just regularly unemployed or use their unemployed benefits. So if I go from having zero income to having $600 a week income, I may disqualify myself for some of the programs that I might be on, correct? If it's considered income?
If it's considered taxable income, it might. We just don't have the guidance right now. So, there's some questions that we cannot answer because we don't have the guidelines. So hopefully the guidelines will come out soon to get, so everybody can be clear on what's taxable and what's not taxable. The only one that we have guidance on is in the economic impact payment. That's the only one that we have definite guidance on. We don't have any written guidance on the additional $600. Hopefully, legislation.
Can I ask a request of you? Because you've been very good working with us for all these years. Can you go to the higher ups? This is a huge, huge question.
Yes.
In this week, these unemployed people or self-employed people will be applying for that $600. And they need to clearly understand before they file for that they may lose all of their other benefits. If it's taxable income, they go from having 0 or 100 or 200 where they're now getting insurance for free, they're getting SNAP and all these other assistance programs. They may disqualify themselves for those programs if they accept the $600. So can you please do us the favor of making sure that gets to the higher up and that is clarified as soon as possible? Because what we don't want to see are people in need losing all those other benefits for this income.
Yes, we do have a system in place where we can elevate issues, and I'm going to be elevating that question.
Thank you.
After a meeting, that way it can be.
Because, like I said, there's a lot of people that the $600 a week is going to be awesome, but they also need to understand that going from maybe $200, $300, $400 a month to $2,400 a month disqualifies you for.
Definitely, for almost everything. Yeah, and I agree with you. We just can't answer that question because we don't have the guidance, and we cannot, give you an answer that we don't have guidance for. But once we have the guidance in place, and I'm definitely going to elevate this question because it has come up in other meetings as well. So I'm going to be elevating that, and as soon as I get an answer or have the guidance, I'm pretty sure, I will be mailing that out to you.
Okay. So one other question sort of related to this. There's a lot of other organizations out there. Some are offering small grants to, let's say, artists being affected by the COVID, or restaurant workers being affected by the COVID. And are those going to be considered taxable or non-taxable grants? My initial answer that I got was if it's an assistance because of the COVID pandemic and it's offered to everyone in a particular group of people being affected by it, it's not. But if you're getting a grant for doing something, like for example, a grant for restaurant owners who volunteer to make brownies for the community, you're doing something for the grant, or artists that are getting a grant for doing art during the COVID crisis, those would be considered income. Can you comment on that? And is there a way to tell the difference?
You know, this is another topic that we don't have any guidance yet, but we do have the Artist Relief Fund grants out there, and and again, we don't have any specific IRS guidance, but what I'm finding is that it looks like it might be taxable depending, where it came from. And usually we want the taxpayer to check with the organization that is supplying or distributing the grant or relief funds. So once again, we don't have clear guidance on that. So hopefully that will come out also soon.
Okay, maybe that could be part of the escalation, because what those organizations are saying is to check with the IRS.
Yeah, check with the IRS.
Yeah, and so I haven't gotten the only thing I found somewhere buried in the IRS website was something that made that delineation, that if you're getting any kind of a grant or assistance due to an emergency, which the pandemic would be, then it's assistance, it's not taxable. But if it's for something like a grant to do work, to do artwork, to do something during that crisis, then it is taxable. But if you could clarify, that would be great, because again, some people are applying for all of these programs, and they may be hurting themselves more by applying if it's considered income.
Right.
So thank you for that.
Right. Yeah, I will elevate those questions. I haven't written down because you also send them to me in an email.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be elevating those, because yes, we need answers. Yes.
Okay. So
right.
I have another question for you. Regarding the $600. So we know that is a payment coming from the federal government, and it's being distributed through the state. So my understanding is the state of Connecticut will be opening up a portal this week or next week, very soon, where people who normally are not eligible for Connecticut unemployment will be able to go and apply for this pandemic unemployment payment of $600. We don't have the date as to when that is happening, but they should not have applied to the regular unemployment because they will be denied. They're either gig performers, self-employed, etc. So until that, until that portal opens and they're able to apply through that portal, they will not see that $600. Correct?
I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with what the state is doing right now regarding the portal. But as far as I understood, even the self-employed can apply for unemployment benefits at this time during the COVID-19 procedure.
Okay, so I'll take a moment. So for anyone listening, because a couple people have sent those questions in, for anyone listening, the state of Connecticut's normal unemployment insurance is paid for. It's an insurance policy. It is paid by employers who have employees. And it's meant for when that company shuts down or has to lay off employees, there's money there to help them bridge the gap until they find other employment. So that is distributed to the state of Connecticut. And only people who have a W-2 are eligible for those unemployment benefits. Now, when the CARES Act was approved, the federal government said that the federal government was going to pay all unemployed people an additional $600 per week. And that includes people who normally are not eligible, who are your gig performers, the self-employed, the 1099ers. It also included people who had used up their unemployment benefits and people who have not worked in a long time and are unemployed. So that's federal money. Our state here in Connecticut our current system was not set up to accommodate that. And so the story is, in 1950s was when our computer programs were created for unemployment, and believe it or not, there's 3 digits there for the amount of money that you could receive. Even currently, right now, the maximum amount anyone could receive as a benefit is $645. So there's literally a 3-digit number as to how much you can receive in the computer programming. With this additional $600, some people may have a 4-digit revenue. They might go to, $1,000, $1,100, or $1,200. There's no way for our old antiquated computer system to handle 4 digits. It only has 3. So they've had to go in the state and rewrite all the software and get additional computer work done in order to accommodate the extra $600, which takes people to a 4-digit number. Now, supposedly, there's going to be, so if you are currently on unemployment and you are a W-2 person on unemployment, so your company laid you off during this crisis, you had a company you work for and you've got a W-2 at the end of the year, your $600 will start automatically coming into your check, supposedly starting the end of it. You'll be eligible the end of this week, so you'll see it in your deposits next week. You will not see the retro. So this federal payment under CARES goes from March 29th through July 31st. So we are already obviously into April. So they will go retro for all of these people. You will get a retro payment separate from your normal unemployment. If you're again, a W-2 person, you will see those weeks of retro deposited separately, but you will get, starting next week, the first $600 payment added to your unemployment. Now, for people who are the unemployed, the self-employed, the gig performers, and 1099 independent contractors, some people went and applied on the state system. If you did that, some people have already gotten a notice from them saying you're not eligible. Some people haven't gotten any notice. And that's just because they're a little delayed in the system. So if you fall into one of those non-traditional people, so you normally are not eligible, but under the CARES bill, you are eligible. Again, self-employed, the business owner, entrepreneur, self-employed, the 1099 people, and gig performers. Gig performers are an artist who goes and does a concert, a photographer that does a wedding. You do jobs rather than have a regular set income. You will be able to apply when this new portal opens. We don't have the date of that yet. It's supposed to be obviously by the end of this week or early next week. They did say definitely by the end of April. When that portal opens, all of those people will be able to go in and apply. You will have to put in information as to whether you want a credit card or whether you want it to go to your bank accounts. But at that point, they will be able to apply. And the money will, once they process it, go retro to March 31st. Those benefits only go to July 31st. The key, so that system we understand is happening, but the key really, and what we didn't know, and hopefully Nancy you'll find for us, is that $600 considered regular unemployment, or is it a federal payment made to everyone under this coronavirus pandemic emergency, and so it may not be considered income? That's the key. Because before people apply for this and collect their money, they really need to know how that's going to affect everything else in their life, because it's a huge amount of money. And it definitely will disqualify most people from state insurance and other kinds of assistance. So we caution everybody. As soon as you find out, Nancy, you'll tell us, and we will send this out through our newsletter. So if you don't get the Chamber's newsletter, please, go to our website, wyndhamchamber.com, and sign up. So Nancy, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. That was a good information that you provided as well. Yeah. All right. The last thing about the item that I want to cover is that you can also follow the IRS on social media. You can also sign up for e-news subscriptions that we have available for small businesses and tax professionals. And we are offering on those subscriptions, we actually have a lot of urgent updates on COVID-19 regarding scams and the economic impact payment information, and any information that has to do regarding the tax reliefs. You can find those on the subscriptions, and also by following the IRS on the social media. We have a Facebook account that the IRS has. We have Twitter. Twitter is probably the main one that has been used. I have sent out like Twitter images and Twitter, little tweets that our partners can use and put them on their Twitter accounts and share them on their social media platforms. That way, we can get this information out as fast as we can, because we know, that a lot of people are using Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. So this is a way of the IRS getting the information out to you as soon as possible. So you can follow the IRS using those social media platforms as well. And if you want to verify the accounts to make sure that they are from the IRS, you can go to irs.gov/social media and verify that these accounts are actually indeed from the IRS. We also have a free mobile app called the Irs To Go. This app can be used for taxpayers to check their refund, to pay taxes, and to find free tax help. You can also watch IRS YouTube videos and get daily tax tips by downloading the app from the Google Play Store or your Android devices. So, and for more information, you can go on irs.gov once again, and please continue to check irs.gov, the coronavirus webpage, for the latest information. This is actually where you're going to find the most updated and latest information. So, and that's pretty much all I have. Any questions? Any other questions? And Diane, you know that as soon as I get information, I mail it out as soon as I get it. So,
yep. Nancy, you have been great. I have to say that I get information from you daily, sometimes a couple of times a day, whenever there's updates, and we use that information to send out to anybody who has our newsletter. I try, because there's literally 5 to 12 different pieces of important information a day, and we've been sending daily emails. We try not to repeat the information. So if you have any questions, you can go to our website, click on the coronavirus thing, and many of the questions that people have now, they had a week ago, and we answered them in that communication, so you can go and get those answers. But feel free to email me at diane@wyndhamchamber.com. You can call the chamber number. We are certainly, I literally work with between 20 and 30 different businesses a day on questions or filing grants. We have a direct line to the SBA, the DECD, SBDC, and Nancy with the IRS. So I appreciate the fact that you answer emails and phone calls and stuff almost immediately. And
if I can, I answer them right away.
Yeah.
I mean, right now we're really, really busy. I mean, we've been told, you're supposed to be working in coronavirus stuff 8 hours a day. They don't want us working on anything else, because the information is so important that they want us to call each partner and say, can you please share the messages? This is what's going on right now. Well, just as a reminder, we on a daily basis we are updating that Q&A on irs.gov, and that's where you can get the most updated information, faster than how I can mail it out. Because the information is going to be there available on irs.gov first before I get the news release that is available. So if you constantly want to check irs.gov, the Q&A, you can actually find an answer for your questions before you contact the IRS.
I agree with that, because I often find the questions that I send into people the next day or 2 days later, they're on the question and answer. So it's pretty fast that they update it. And again, to explain to people, we've never been through this before. So the federal government, the state government, and everybody else it's a learning curve. I mean, we're not prepared to do billions and millions of stuff all at the same time. So everyone is working to update and get information and clarify things as soon as possible for everyone. So I urge people to be patient. But obviously, you guys are doing an amazing amount of work in a short period of time, and I appreciate everything that you're doing, Nancy.
Okay, thank you, and thank you for having me. And hopefully we keep working together, and when we have more information, we can probably do another another webinar. The IRS was supposed to have a webinar today with the IRS commissioner, but we just got notice early this morning that it was postponed.
Yeah.
And I was so upset that it was postponed. And I'm like, how can you postpone this on the date of the webinar when we are waiting for this information, from the important people, from the IRS commissioner? We need to hear from them. We need to hear from our top leaders what's really going on. To me as an IRS employee, I was a little bit upset that it was just postponed actually. So
I know. I agree with you, because I was supposed to be on that call too. I was hoping we could get some answers.
Yeah. But as soon as it's rescheduled, I'll send you the invitation again, and you can send it out to your customers. So, but I don't have a date for you. It was postponed. They didn't give us any information.
Okay.
So.
All right,
Okay.
so I'm looking at our chat box and the question and answer box, and I don't see anyone having any additional questions. And we have 1 minute left, so if you can think of anything.
Diane, we
Yep.
have, looks like Victoria has her hand up.
Oh, okay. Steve, can you unmute her?
Yep.
We trust Victoria. We know who she is.
Go ahead, Victoria. You're live.
Victoria, unmute yourself, hon.
That was a mistake. Sorry, it was just a mistake.
Oh,
I
okay.
apologize.
And so no questions, Victoria. This is important to a lot of the people that you serve, because some of this information can affect their lives greatly. Do you agree?
Absolutely. This was great. I really took some good notes, and I know it's great having you as a resource, Diane, because you have the answers that when we're looking for them. So this is good. Thank you very much for this.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate Victoria. And Nancy, we'll have you back. Thanks for taking time out. Steve, you've been a great host.
Thank you, everyone.
Everybody stay safe and healthy, and keep checking the newsletters for additional webinars. Bye now.